Caroline, welcome to Wimbledon.
Already.
I know you've been here many a time, but you're up in hospitality today as our special guest. Looking forward to that.
Very much so. It's a real treat, to be honest, because I don't feel that, I'm kind of a superstar or anything like that, like many of the players are. So to be invited is really quite special. Because I come quite regularly, just pay for my own ticket and just come anonymously, and that suits me. So This is a bit weird, to be honest, today.
So were you a fan before you joined Wimbledon, or have you sort of become a fan since?
Absolutely not a fan beforehand. I was with Leatherhead, who were great rivals of Walton and Hersham, and we hated Walton because they were the bully boys of the league. And of course half of that Walton team became Wimbledon, and we hated Wimbledon because they were bully boys and we played the fancy football, and we were supposed to be the best non-league team never to win a trophy, but it's because we played really beautiful football and didn't have that killer instinct. And that's what Alan Batsford instilled in his teams, was that winning mentality. And when I actually became reserve and youth team physio at Wimbledon, my friends at Leatherhead were mortified. They felt I was a traitor because we absolutely hated them because they always bullied us off the park.
So you obviously come across Alan Batsford and that team, Walton and Hersham.
Oh, very much so. From the early 70s.
Yeah.
They were amateur cup winners, I think. Gosh, if my memory serves me right. I think one of the last teams to win it. No, penultimate, I think.
Yeah.
And I started Leatherhead when I was 11, so...
So what made you, obviously you were saying that people at Leatherhead were, obviously you joined, what made you apply? Did you apply for the...
I didn't apply, they approached
me. They approached you?
They approached me. I didn't know the job was available, and they were pretty desperate by the sound of it because there was nobody else who'd got that qualification in the area who was available. And there was much debate, even in the interview, between... It was Jeff Taylor, my memory fails me. Don't show this bit.
That's okay.
Alan Gillette, sorry, let me say that did that one again. So it was with Bassett, it was Alan Gillette and Jeff Taylor, and there was really quite some debate in front of me about whether they should actually hire a woman. And I was sitting there like a lemon going, well, do you want me or don't you? And they took me on.
How did that make you feel? Because obviously, you look at women in football nowadays, massive. It was massive back in, it always has been.
In those days, it didn't happen. I was breaking glass ceilings. It just did not happen. I was the first one, and I believe there was a lady at Barnet throughout that time, but Barnet were non-league. But in the Football League, I was the only one until early 90s when Barnet got promoted, because they had one lady and then another one. Who were brilliant physios, and I'm still in touch with one of them. And everywhere you went, it was kind of, you were just battering your head against a brick wall. Whether it's the commissioner at Arsenal saying, oh, you can't come in. I've heard some ruses from fans trying to get in the dressing room, but this beats them all. And it's actually quite funny because Harry came past and goes, Harry, will you let me know I'm a physio? Never seen her before. And he walked through. But this was typical of Wimbledon. And then I saw Ollie Beak, Nigel Winterburn, and hey Beak, tell him who I am. I said, yeah, he's a physio, let her in. He did.
Obviously you had Bobby Gould, obviously Don Howe, excellent coach.
What a tactician. I cannot speak highly enough about Don Howe. He was an absolute gentleman, and he always looked out for me. So if the players were getting a bit cheeky, he'd be kind of just there, just looking out. And I did a few interviews and things, and he'd always give me his opinion, and it was always very constructive. And he was a real father figure to many people. He was brilliant man. Wish we could have had him for longer, but he was a mastermind with how to play against Liverpool, and he had the tactics spot on. Do
you remember the build-up? Because obviously, as you just said, the FA Cup final was the pinnacle. I'm with you. I remember the journey on the coach, and I remember the charity game beforehand. Everything, I missed that.
The clothes show.
Yeah.
The madness.
Yeah. Everything centred around it, didn't it? That FA Cup final.
And in those days, obviously, we didn't have the internet and things, but how people got my phone number, people I hadn't seen for 10, 15, 20 years. Could I get a ticket, please? So what the players were getting, if I was getting that.
So we had Dave Besson here recently. We were talking, obviously, memories of that cup final. He was talking about the FA. He was talking about the final. The penalty and stuff like that. And he was saying it was a really, really hot day that day.
Oh, it's horrendously hot because the heat seemed to. I know heat rises, but it seemed to sink that day, and it just was incredibly hot. And I remember Kenny Dalglish was sitting in a quilted jacket. He must have been like a sauna. I mean, I was hot in what I was wearing.
Yeah.
And Don Howe obviously got us to do the trick that he did in Mexico with England, was get the towels in the bath, get ice on them, and cool the players down.
Yeah.
Quite apart from the excitement of coming in, you were ahead, get the ice on the towels. A, calms them down, but B, cools them down more importantly. Yeah. And, that just...
It's that experience from playing in a...
Absolutely. And it was little things like that he bought that was so useful.
I could talk to you for ages on this. I'm sure hospitality would be great for you later. One of the things that, obviously in the museum here, one of the things that I always mesmerised me was that Princess Diana was the royal guest of honour that day.
She looked so stunning. And I remember coming out, because, as you do, had my hair done in the morning before going to the Cannizzaro. The Farrah Fawcett flick, as everybody did in those days, didn't suit me in the slightest. It was awful, but never mind. We all have dodgy haircuts in our past. And she looked so effortlessly chic in that peach suit. And I had been doing massages and preparing the players for like an hour and a half. And so I was just this sweaty lump. And I just felt so inelegant as she came out. But, looking back, does it matter? No, it doesn't, of course not.
It's iconic. We've got the picture here. It's iconic. And obviously, if you look at the video footage, just as Dave Besson picks up the trophy, Dennis Wise obviously behind.
Oh, yes. Dennis, we love Dennis. Dennis is such a character. Yes, it was...
I'm sure she'd heard worse, but...
I'm sure she had, but I think she's had a little smile. But no, it was wonderful. And I was stood at the foot of the stairs just watching Lurch get the cup from her, and my heart was just bursting with pride. It was wonderful.
Must have been mesmerising.
It really was. It's just seeing your mates go up and get the cup. And wonderful moment.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today.
Thank you.
Can't leave you. Obviously, we've got Salford today. Do you do predictions? What are you thinking?
God, I hope we win. I mean, do you know, I've only ever seen one win here. I think I'm the worst mascot you can have. So don't ever invite me to games because, a number of times we've gone 1 or 2 goals up and we've drawn. I think I've seen more draws here than I'd like to. I'm not going to say a draw. I'm not going to predict.
That's okay. Look, thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a really good day today.